This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, very good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome back. Okay, so last session, we were having some introduction to the code we talked about, right? So we are about to start some shell scripting, and we cannot actually directly jump onto the shell scripting is what I mentioned, right? So why we cannot jump into the shell scripting is so we so we have to keep our code inside some Git repositories. So that's where we're going to take our code and keep it in Git repository. Okay, and keep it in a code repository. So I talked about some code standards, right? You should never keep your code in so over the local desktop. So you always need to try to push it to the public one. Sorry, not public, some central repository. Okay, so that's the concept I was talking through, and yeah. So I'm just trying to. I forget to launch the Windows environment. I'm just trying to get to a Windows environment. Yes, I can. Yeah. Okay, so we need to we need to push to the code. Okay, so how do we generally try to so do that particular code thing? Okay, so generally how do we do that is, so we are going to have a central repositories basically. Okay, so over there we need to do that. Okay, now every one of you also need to have the central repository. So that's where you need to go ahead and create an account which is in GitHub. Okay, who are the public guys who actually offers the public Git repositories? So GitHub is a major one, so that everyone would have heard about this. And there's a GitLab which is alternate to that. Okay, he also offers the Git as a service. Okay, you can keep your code there, and even you have Bitbucket, you have Azure DevOps also now available. He also allows you for free of cost. You can keep the code. Okay, so these are the different vendors actually who provides the code out there. But I'll prefer you to go and create your GitHub account. Okay, so you need to create your GitHub account. Okay, so yeah, so every one of you need to create your own GitHub account. So here until now you really need to have an Azure DevOps account. From now on you require Azure DevOps account also. That Azure DevOps account also you can take it from GitHub directly, because it's also a Microsoft product now, right? So GitHub is acquired, I think, a couple of years back with Microsoft. So now GitHub.com. So every one of you try to keep it in GitHub, because technical recruiters, whoever does the recruiting, okay, so those people try to look into your GitHub profiles also. Okay, so they will look into your GitHub profile and how are you performing. Okay, so that means do you have do you have any interest? Based on interest, you're actually doing something, you're trying to do something out of box or not really. So they will always try to look in there. Okay, so that is the reason I will suggest you to go with always create a GitHub proper profile. Okay, it's also a marketing profile, like LinkedIn you're putting your interests, and based on that today I mean, back in days you used to have only the job portals. From the job portals only people used to pick your resume and dump it. But today the recruiters are a little bit smart enough. Okay, so they actually try to look into your other places as well. What is your interest? So one of the place which you can actually prove yourself that you are actually a serious guy, so is GitHub. Okay, so other places LinkedIn you're doing, or you have some hacker rank Okay, so if you are really good with the code or something like that, so you can try to solve some hacker ranking and you can put it on the hacker ranks also. Okay, so yeah, whatever the reason it is, okay, GitHub is a place where you can market. Okay, so easily they'll understand. Okay, easily they'll understand how serious you are doing. Okay, if you don't have a GitHub account, at least I usually check it out. Okay, when I'm doing the interview, I usually look for a GitHub profile even. Okay, so that shows some seriousness. If you are keeping the code, what kind of code you are keeping, what is your interest. Okay, so we can easily grab that particular information. Okay, so my GitHub account, if you open, so it will show my profile basically. So how much how to show that basically where it comes to profile. So if I go with my profile, you see this, so I'm submitting the code, basically some kind of thing. Okay, this is one of my account. Another account, if I go there, which is a regular one I use. So you see this. So this continuously shows me that, if someone is actually looking into my code, so then they will easily understand that this is okay. This is basically is okay. So this is basically is okay. Okay. So the green, actually more green, it will show you that I'm doing a serious commits. Basically dark the green. It's dark it is, and I'll be doing so many contributions around it. Okay, so that's the idea basically. All right, so that's how I'm actually going to I'm doing it. So someone sees my profile like this profile, this shows a nice one basically, right? This shows a very nice one. All right, so that's where I would okay, suggest you to market your profile even in GitHub. Okay, I think there are some people actually GitHub resume. Okay, so they keep resumes actually in GitHub also. Okay, so people actually build their resumes directly in GitHub. If someone asks also, they post it here. Okay, I don't know, so something like this. Okay, if someone asks the resumes also, people will post it even here, their link even. Okay, they use serious GitHub. Even not even this, I actually seen some GitHub nice beautifying also. Someone keeping the resume directly like this. If you open the link, okay, whatever the point it is, okay, I want to mention here is you need to start marketing yourself. If you are not able to sell yourself, no one can help you. You should have your own idea of how to sell yourself, right? So that's what you'll do in the interview basically. So yeah, right, so that's where okay, so this will help in so in picking up your resume and something like that. Okay, so go ahead and create your account in GitHub. Okay, I'm going to create my own, like let's say DevOps. Okay, so here it is, already have something, and now I'll go for create an account, and ultimately it asks for an email, B53, and B53@gmail.com. Some password. Verify this puzzle. Pick the image with the matching reflection. Probably the first one. Okay. You can skip this. So it sends an email. GitHub verify. Okay. So this is the place where we can create our repositories and try to maintain your profile properly. You go to the profile, update your okay, if you don't have the account, update your profile, proper information, edit the profile and give all the information about you. Okay, and try to do that and start submitting the code from now on. Okay, so that at least it will start showing as a green. Okay, after a couple of months that will show as nice thing. Okay, yeah, so that's where is the first thing you should be doing. Now I can put the code here. Yeah, and I think Azure DevOps is having some problems around the code. So what I will do is I'll enable some functionality that, so your Azure DevOps link is already there. So dev.azure.com, and if I go to the here, I will push the code to the GitHub. I will make some functionality in the backend, so where I can, so push it in here also in this place as well. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. In the repos also, I will try to push that particular code. Okay, but for now, so I will go with the GitHub account, and in GitHub only, I will try to in GitHub only I'll try to create the repository, and I will share with you. Okay, now here I go with the repository. So here is the place I'm going to create the repository. So this is the link actually you need from now on. Okay, for referring the code which I write it, you require a link, right? So that's where it is, and I will just mention in the wiki same thing. So new page and say that GitHub. Yeah, so if you open the GitHub link, so there's a link one here, and you click on this, and you actually go into the repositories. Okay, I doesn't have any repository, it's telling. That's okay. I will create now. Fine. Okay, so that's how I'm going to create some repositories here. So repository is nothing but a code where you can keep it in a central place, right? So that is where it is going to be. And yeah, so in companies also you go there, so you will get some portal like this where you have some central place of repositories. The GitHub is a public one. If you go for an enterprise organizations, you probably might not have so a GitHub or GitLab public one. But so GitHub offers a software which you can install locally. GitLab offers a software which you can install locally, or Bitbucket is a software which allows you to install locally. In the local environment, you will be having a Git repository. Okay, so 99% I doubt actually you'll get a chance to manage the Git repositories, because in a standard organization, so the Git repositories is usually maintained by IT team. There'll be tool teaming, so it's not only for your project. Every project it is actually they'll be having a common Git repository. So that's where there's a separate IT team or a tool team, a particular tool, whoever is maintaining. So they will try to manage this kind of administration of these particular tools. I don't think so really that much knowledge you do require. We're not actually taking into that line, so we can go ahead and install and talk about how to create a user and things like that, which is really not needed. Okay, because I'm for sure that you'll never get a you'll never get a chance to work on such requirements. Okay, so that is the reason. Always try to go to so repositories and create the repository. Start from there. That's your major work. Okay, so yeah, so sometimes you get that particular work also, like managing the Git, managing the Git server also, then you're lucky. Okay, lucky in the sense bad luck. Okay, so that's not the work of the DevOps guy. That's a more work of a sysadmin or a particular tool guy basically. Okay, sysadmin I would say, in more perspective. Okay, so we don't bother about that much. Yeah, so coming back to the point, so we in organization also you'll have some repositories like this. You need to go and create one repository. Okay, and you start using it. That's it. So sometimes you'll not have access to create a repository also. You'll be working on the repositories which is already created even. Okay, so that's the idea basically. Okay, now yeah, so since you have some access, you can go ahead and create your repository and you can start keeping the code. Now putting some meaningful diagram inside this. So what actually we're trying to do here, we are actually trying to go to yeah, so this is your GitHub or something. You're creating one GitHub or something. All right, so you're actually maintaining GitHub. Okay, so this GitHub is you're creating a repository. So you're going to have a repository. So generally first time you might do is create a repository. So create repo. So only one time basically, only one time. All right, so once you create the repository, always work on that. Okay, every day you'll not create a new repository. That doesn't make sense. It's only a one-time job. All right, once you do this, then what you need to do is you need to start working on this, right? So how do you start working on this? So you will be starting working on this by in your local system. So actually you can also edit the code directly on the browser. So that's where we'll not prefer, and we'll always try to go and do it in our local desktop. Okay, so now just go with the new repository. I'm creating a new repository. So this we are talking about shell scripting. So we'll make a shell scripting repository. I'm putting it as a public repository only. I don't want to put it private. Let's keep it as public. Okay, it'll be open only. You don't need to log in and do that. And the next one is going to be so create one readme file. So that means a simple file will be there, a readme file having some information. So just create the repository. That's fine. You're done. Actually talking about one option I need to do. Is the settings, right? I want this settings button. Actually, GitHub recently took a stand on changing the word master, replacing the word master to main. Okay, so they did something called as this. Okay, so this is because because of some naming convention, right? So I think this year only, I believe, so something happened, right? So in US or somewhere, I think US only. So like, let's say if you go to the kubernetes.io also, in their web page, basically you should not use a word called as black in the organizations. I'm not sure whether you got such emails. If people, whoever is working, you got such emails in the interest of the, in the interest of not abusing or something, right? I don't know. So abusing some people, so we don't want to use such words actually in the organization. So, and one of the word actually which came here is a master. Master looks like, it's a word generally you might use it. It's like a dominating word, right? So that's where so this word also like people were not preferring. Okay, so that's where GitHub actually took a stand of changing master rename, GitHub master rename. Okay, they took a stand sometime in this year. So sometime to change this. Yeah, this is the news. Okay, so starting next month, all source code repositories on GitHub will be renamed to main instead of master as a part of company server to unnecessary references of slavery, or replace them with the inclusive terms, right? So that's the idea. Okay, there are a lot of words actually has been changed. I'm not sure you as an organization, you should get an email. Okay, so that's what a lot of companies has took the stand, and Microsoft also has took the stand of changing the word master to main. Okay, that's where you see it as a main. And don't confuse that, particularly you are using a main means it's master only. Okay, I'm not going to rename this, let it be as master, let it be as main. But yeah, usually years I've been using a word called as master, so just over a day on, so it might not change, but yeah. So even Azure DevOps is also no, I think last week only they changed it to a master. Okay, last week or this week, I'm not sure, very recently, within days only. Okay, in a week gap only they changed to, even they are also master to main. But main and master are same, keep that in mind. Main and master both technically same, but the word is the only difference basically. Okay, so don't confuse on that particular part. So 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 it's actually supposed to be master, why it is now it is something. Okay, so for the first time you create a repository. Okay, so that's what you do. And once after you do that, so then what you're going to do is you're going to bring that particular code to your local desktop. Okay, you bring your code to the local desktop. So then so what you do is you bring that particular code to local desktop. So the steps I'm just trying to put it here. So the second thing what you're going to do is, so get the code to local desktop. You create a repository. Okay, get the code or repository, go to local desktop. So that's what you're going to do. And in third, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do some modifications. So do code enhancements. What I do, code enhancements is what I do. Okay, fine. Once after you do the code enhancements, again, what you'll be doing is you will be putting those particular changes to the GitHub repository. That's it. The fourth step is actually going to be is what you do. So the fourth step is actually going to be is okay, push the changes to central. So this is what the very common steps you will be doing. Okay, you don't expect, I see a lot of people, so come so come to the come to the interviews that so, or even like, let me put this way, a lot of people actually learn the courses, they'll specifically mention Git as a separate tool that they learn something superb in the training. Okay, but Git is nothing. Okay, Git is seriously nothing. It's a utility. Okay, it's a utility. Okay, so it's like a browser basically, right? Like you're working on the internet, however the browser is mandatory. If you're working on the code, Git is a kind of a mandatory. Back in days we used to have something called a subversion. Now we are actually having a tool called as Git, which is widely used. Okay, so that's where it's a kind of a mandatory thing. Really, it's mandatory. There's nothing serious about that particular tool. You bold, you put your resume that bold characters that very highlighting that I know Git. It's nothing. Okay, so it's a very basic tool. You don't to really bother about Git as super things. It's a very common thing which you use in your day-to-day life basically. Once you start dealing with the code, that's it. Just keep that in mind. Okay, so Git, that's a very simple knowledge which you require even. Okay, so you need to know that how do you pull your pull your code from the central repository. Once you pull that, you make some changes and you commit the changes to the GitHub, again back to the Git repository. So this is what you're going to do. Okay, the very clear picture is this is what you do. Okay, your day-to-day is going to be this one. Technically, what are the commands you have to type and things like that, this is the next step, but this is much you would be talking about. Okay, is everyone clear on this? Any questions?
So, I mean, that's only like from engineering or development standpoint, right? I mean, I made the change to the code and I published it somewhere, whatever from whichever branch I took it. And I mean, I guess we'll go into those details, those concepts, right? Ultimately, it has to make it through different environments, right? From your development to your test to your whatever production, which is whatever main branch or master.
I mean, you're just clarifying, right? It's not a question you're saying, just clarifying yours. Okay.
Yeah, just making sure that is that how we will probably, is that how it will be constructed, the course content?
No, I didn't get your actual point, actually, what you're trying to ask.
So just getting the code and pushing it to a repo, that is one thing. And then how does that get propagated in the different environments, from dev to test to prod? I guess
that's next level, right? Yeah, there's a long road to go there. Yeah, you'll go there.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone? Any other questions? But we are not done with the Git. Git will will enhance. So in few weeks we will see what is completely needed. Yeah, so not completely done yet. All right, anyone, any other questions? Okay, so now you're done with your okay, so repository creation. So how do you get into your local desktop? So again, yeah, your local desktop has to be basically most of you people has to be Windows, or is Windows basically. So that's where I'm just trying to put it on Windows environment. Like I'm going to show you on Windows. like Mac OS, it's very quite simple only. So you'll be getting most of the things out of box, so which will not very. I'll talk about those steps as well. But for a Windows guy, so probably, so how do you try to install a Git basically? So you require a client basically to do that. Okay, so you require a Git client to install in your local system to do that. Okay, the client is actually, I'm referring to go with is Git bash. There are a lot of clients, again, as I mentioned, to connect to a Linux box. I have given you, putty as a one, right? But there is a hell lot of utilities which are available out there. Okay, you can just use them. So the same way, okay, for a Git also, there are a lot of clients. It's your choice. It's an end utility. It's your choice. My choice is, so using some tool called as Git bash. You can just put like, Git bash is a utility, so which allows you to run some Git commands basically. Okay, so just go with this Git downloads, and you choose yours is a Windows box, and automatically downloads the software based on your operating system, whether it is a 32-bit or 64-bit. It just downloads that particular appropriate one, and you just open and install that. Okay, so I'm just clicking on run. There's nothing to bother here. It's quite simple. Next. I want a desktop icon also. Click on desktop. Next. I'm just going with the default options. I'm not really changing anything at all. Okay, anything at all. Just go with next. That's it. I didn't even bother about those options. I'm just putting next. That's fine. So I can just launch the Git bash. So this is a Git bash which will help you in trying to execute some Linux commands even on your Windows box also. Okay, this is a utility, and along with this, you're going to get the you're going to get the Git also. Now give pwd, it's actually inside your home directory. Okay, so it's actually in D drive users escalator. So that means if you go to your my PC, so you go to the my PC. So you have a D drive, just click on D drive and users, my username. So I'm actually inside here. So now if I just, this is the list of folders which you are seeing here, and if I just do ls here, command line, you'll see the same things. Okay, so you'll see, but there are some hidden files which is your desktop is not showing, but yeah, this is showing you this. So D drive users escalator. So that's the same directory you're having desktop, app data. Okay, so some directories Windows is actually masking, but Git bash will show everything. Okay, so that's it. Now you need to keep your repository in some place. You need to create your repository in some place. It's your choice. Like let's say I want to go to documents. Yeah, I want to create a new directory and a new folder, and I want to say that so repos, all repositories, I'll keep it here. So I'll just go inside this, and I want to get a repository here. So how do you get the repository? So here, where do you go? Documents and then repos, so here is the place you're actually going there, right? So either you can go with the cd command, or you go into here, right click git bash here, so directly opens the git bash here also in the same location. It's up to you how to do that. Okay, now what I need to do is I need to clone the repository, right? So where is my repository? So here is the shell scripting. I need to get the repository. The first step is done, creating a repository is done. The second step is you need to get your repository. So that's where you can copy this URL. Okay, so you just click on this, copy this URL, and I can go with git space. So the first step is actually technically going to be is this. It's a public repository without any authentication. It came down, no problem. Okay, now you do git clone. Clone means you get the exact copy of the whatever you have there, get it here. So now you see this shell scripting, and you can write some code here. Okay, now to write the code, you require an editor. Okay, and that's where what is the suggestion I was mentioning. So go with go with IntelliJ, right? So let's go and install IntelliJ. So go to the download and go with the community edition. Don't go with the ultimate edition because ultimate is going to have a limited trial period. So let's install IntelliJ also. So desktop shortcut, I want 64-bit launcher only. And also you just go with the add launchers directly to the path. Okay, this is also important thing. And even you can update add open folder as a project. So this is also a good thing to add. And associate some Java files, so this is really not needed. These options are quite important. 64-bit launcher, you add it and add launchers to that path. So that means from command line also you can open IntelliJ. And right click, if you open like git bash, however you got it, you want to open with IntelliJ also, you can choose this option and install it. Reboot is really needed. Let it be. Okay, so you open IntelliJ. Okay, now we mentioned is what right click, you can open this as a project we have, right? So you can just directly open this as IntelliJ community edition project. Okay, now this directory will be opened as that one. So because the editor is the one which we'll use to edit the files, I'm opening the file direct folder itself as a project. So this is fine. Okay. Yeah. So first thing, you can open the shell scripting folder, so you can find out the README file. And to open the file, yeah, you open it. And so if I want to add some content into this file, so what I'll say is, so some sample line. Okay, you added some code. Okay, that's fine. So some text. Now save this file. So now you need to send these particular files to the central repository. You modified, right? So how do you send it? Okay, let's see. Give me 1 second. Yeah, sorry. So now I need to, according to our diagram, so what I need to do? So we need to push this particular code to the central place now. So how, I did the code enhancements basically, right? So then push the changes to the central. So how do you do that? How do you do that? So that's where, first of all, you have to go to the command line. You can do it in two ways. Shell scripting, go to the command line, git bash, since you are using this particular tool. So a couple of commands. So git command, you already know git clone. So that means the duplication of this diagram is going to be, I think that diagram is already there. That's what I'm trying to open here. Yeah. So this is the one generally. So git clone you have done, I think I already made some diagram. So GitHub, git clone and the URL in your desktop, and you did the modifications, git add and the file names, git commit and the message, and git push. So these are commands basically. So 4 commands, one command only with 4 options. You can easily remember them. It's not a big deal. And so now you're going to go with, so accordingly, so which are the files you want to send? You can choose which files changes you want to push it there. So that's where git add or readme.md file will come into picture. Okay, so this file, if you modify 10 files, out of them you want to push only 5 files changes, you can do that. You select only 5 files. You selected the files. Okay, so now you want to commit this, basically saying that you completed the change. Okay, and you want to save this change as my change one. Okay, so something like this. Okay, git commit sorry, -yum message is -yum, the message is a change one. Okay, so you change the message basically. And what is the next thing? The next thing is git space push. Git space push. So now you made the changes and you are now ready to push it. So git space push. And so git space push will be asking you to, okay, so sign in into the GitHub. Automatically it is opening the browser. Click on that and it opens a browser. You just need to sign in there with your GitHub account and it stores the credentials. Let me later. So Windows IE is a pain one. Set as a default browser. Yeah, make default. So I don't know. I'm pressing Control C. Let me push it once again. Git push. So sign in. Now it opens here. Yeah. We'll be logging into DevOps B3 and your password. A 6-digit code to your email. Okay. Unauthorize. So now it is actually going to authorize it. And it will start pushing also. Close this tab and return to your application. So git push is now went there. So git push went there. So that means if I just go here and go here, so previously your readme file was having only shell scripting line. So now try to refresh. So you're going to get a sample line also. Going to get sample line as well. Okay. So this is how you're going to have your operate. I mean, your work is going to be the same thing every day. Okay. So you pull the code, so from the central repository, and you make some changes and you push it. Okay. So pull is something which we'll talk about later, but you clone the code. One time you clone it, and you are the only guy who works on your repositories today. You will start working, so mark the changes, push it, make the changes, push it. But later I'll explain you one more scenario. So about the conflicts basically. So what are the conflicts will come? So when you push the changes, okay, so how do you resolve them? And what are the scenarios involved in that particular one? We'll take a separate session for that. But for now, for a beginner, you're going to be doing this. So you're going to install git bash for the command line. Or like, let's say, no, Raghu, I am not interested in this. Okay, I don't want git bash. I don't want I don't want this. My editor, can't my editor do everything basically? Yes, your editor also can do something. Okay, so I closed everything. So I deleted the repository also. Now I open the IntelliJ IDEA. So let's open the IntelliJ IDEA directly. Now this IntelliJ editor is capable of dealing with everything, whatever you're doing there. Okay, over the Git, so it can do everything. So now what I'm going to do is get from VCS, the first option you're having, right? The get from VCS, just click on that, and the URL. So all you need to do is you just bring the same URL here. So copy this and paste it here. Okay, and it is bringing under users Escaluru idea projects shell scripting. Okay, fine. Click on clone. So it clones there. So go to the my home directory, C drive, users, my username. So there is idea project which was created by IntelliJ IDEA. Okay, so click on that, and you have shell scripting here. Okay, anywhere is fine. Where you keep your repository is fine, or you can choose the path as well. Now this also clone the code automatically. You know to really have a git bash and do that. Okay, it can do that as well. Okay, so yeah. So you have to double click the files to open them. Okay, in IntelliJ. So you can change the behavior to, so here as well. In the settings, you will usually get here settings or here on the right click I used. No, here only it should be. You open files with single click. You can do that. Okay. All right, fine. So you got that particular one. You directly cloned with this. Okay, then how about committing the message, adding the files? Yes, that also you can do. So let me add a new file. So add a new file. So like let's say so sample.txt file. It's automatically open you. Also it is asking, do you want to add this file to the Git? Okay, you can say add, or you can do it later also. Okay, so you can click on add for now. All right, so now you can just go and give hello world. Okay, you added some content. Okay, fine. And so now what you need to do, you need to push the code, right? So how do you push the code is on the top you have something git you have here. It comes out of box here. So here git update project, no, git actually commit the message and git push. So commit is fine basically. Click on commit. So then what all the files you have to commit is, so it's automatically you can select the tick the files here. Previously are you giving git add and giving the file names. Now what you can do is you can go with directly. So I'll go to the project here and let me modify something on the readme also. The file. So here also one more line. So that means this file also I modified it. Okay. So now I'll go and go to the commit. So which all the files I want to choose, I can choose this. Okay, this file you modify, you send it. This file you don't send it. Okay, like that I can choose these options. Okay, I choose the option. So two files I want to modify. And what is the message? Down only you can add the message. Say hey, so this is a change to I'm making. So made for demo. So the commit message has to be a proper message. Okay, and commit. That's it. It's asking for the username and email. So it's actually telling that you're telling your okay and DevOps 53. It's only an information at the @gmail.com. So it's only an information. So that's fine. Now it's committed. Okay. Now we are done with that. So then you have to do is a push. Okay. So push button is there. So up arrows sending to up. That means sending it to, just understand the visualize the previous diagram. Up means you're sending to GitHub there. Okay, so that's where you choose this, and you just say click on push, and it shows you the status that it is pushing. And now it's actually asking login via GitHub. Of course, login via GitHub. It opened the browser once again. So now GitHub is actually authorizing your IntelliJ. Previously it authorized. Previously authorization was for Git bash. Now you're pushing. So you can see this pushed, and the message it is telling that it is pushed. And if you just come here, you'll see the sample.txt file, and readme also one more line, and at the same time, so sample.txt file you're seeing. But this is the regular process you're going to do. Every change I make it, I have to write some message and you have to push it. Okay, so using the editor itself directly, you can take it. You don't to bother much around okay, running the commands also from the IntelliJ editor itself directly, you can take it. Okay, so that's the idea. Is clear? Any questions? Any questions?
Raghu, Venkatesh here.
Yeah.
Is it possible to create earlier dates GitHub? Means GitHub, can you save the files on olden dates? Means early dates for the last 3 months or 4 months like that? Is it
Git
possible?
clone means Git clone you are doing means you get everything, all the changes. Yeah.
All the changes? No, because once Git clone, if I clone on the say last 3 months file I'm cloning this today, so it will take today's date set. Is there any chance? Can I create the dates on old dates? Is that possible?
No. Git clone means you get every day's changes, all the repository changes, you get it in your system. Everything will be there. What your point has to be is, okay, so you get the latest code. How can I get the 3 months back code? That's what your question, right? Yeah, you want to see your.
No, you can explain. That is also one doubt. My doubt was next.
Yeah, complete your question then.
My question was that, say, for example, just for my reference only, say, because I forgot to create the Git, I was not, because even though I'm practicing my in local, because if I go to the interview or facing say they come to know that I'm using only Git for the last 1 month, because even I am practicing, but I was not aware of using the Git. Say the interviewer may be knowing that I'm only new, I'm using recently. So is there any way, can I?
In GitHub.
Yeah, okay. In GitHub, can I create these files with the last 6 months back, as if I'm so that?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were explaining about this, the cloning thing.
Yeah. So if you want to switch to your old code, okay, so then yes, it is possible. So you'll find out the commits basically. So the commits, where do you get the commits? Here you have commit. So there's a commit one. Somewhere you'll see that. If you want to see your previous code, all the commits basically. I also don't know. Let's see.
We can see it on the web browser, right? On the
browser is fine. Yeah. So browser is of course. I just want to see it from here also. Everything, it's a clone, right? Whatever you see in the browser, everything is possible here. Even more options are possible here. Yeah. So here, what you have, new branches. Show git log. This is the one. Okay. So you can see this is the initial commit. So if you click on that, so what happens is, so you have to click on checkout basically. So checkout to revision. Then what's going to happen is on the top, the code actually, this is the first code when you modify it. Now the change to, okay. So now click on checkout basically. Now it will show you the second change. Okay. And you go with the, this one and click on checkout. So checkout to main basically. So the major one. So basically now it's showing the third line. Okay. So this is how your commit message, based on the commit message, if you want to switch to some code back, basically it's possible. Okay, so yeah, like Nikhil was saying, it's on the browser also, it's possible. If you go to the repository and you go to the commits on the top, so what 3 change, commit is nothing but a change, so 3 changes you made, and all those 3 changes, if you want to see the code, click on that, it will take you to that particular code. Okay, so what changes you made, it also it will show you. Yeah, so that's the idea basically. Yeah, but all the changes, whatever you made from day 1 to today, everything is tracked by Git, and so every change will be there. Okay, so that's where it becomes a version control system. Okay, so that means it's maintain every version of your change. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, any questions? So a couple of options you change it here, so which makes your life easy. So first thing is, I mentioned, so single click, basically open files with single click is the one thing. And the second thing is, I don't like this UI. Usually the default UI, whatever the IntelliJ ships, actually I usually prefer my personal choice. Okay, I don't like this. Okay, so what I will usually choose is, I'll go to the settings, and for macOS also, you install IntelliJ, it's mostly same, options is still same. Okay, no change at all. For installing the Git on the command line, if you want, then you can go for brew install Git. Okay, so brew install Git is what you have to do. That's it. Okay, but command line you don't want really, because the editor is giving the same options. You can just use the editor there itself. Now here it's actually having a Dracula. The theme is Dracula. Okay, so they are coming up with. If you are actually looking for so light theme, you can just press this, so you'll get the whiteboard. But white actually will affect your eye a lot, because yeah, you day in day out, basically you half of your day at least easily you'll be going around this particular editor. Okay, I mean generally if you do a serious work in the organization. So that's where I don't prefer this. My personal choice is, I'll go to the plugins. There's a VS Code, Visual Studio Code. There is a nice theme actually from them. Visual Studio dark theme. Basically, this theme is really nice. That's my personal choice. Again, you might color whatever you might like some colors. Okay, so but actually this is my personal choice. I'm going to go to the appearance now, or if I just go with OK first, just choose this and go to settings once again. Now you got the Visual Studio Code Plus. Okay, you choose it. This is the one, but still it's not that great again. So it's still little dark. It came, but not completely. So you change some option somewhere, so it will, you can have some, like let's say you see my IntelliJ. If I open my IntelliJ, so how dark it looks like. Mine look like this, so that the text will be having the enough brightness to easily catch it. That's my preference. Again, as I'm mentioning, it's your choice. How do you want to make it? Okay, so how do you want to make it? So, and I usually like Console's font, not on this here. I usually like Console's font on the text. Actually, the editor, if I go there, I go to the font. I usually like Consolas. Okay, Consolas is my choice. For sure, anywhere I use Consolas is what I prefer basically. So all your code editors will come into Consolas code. That's fine. Okay. All right. And the next one is that's another choice which you can make it. Or if you want to increase font also, like probably some 16, just click on apply. You'll see some big font actually. Yeah, the font size your choice. And the next one is going to be yeah, so yeah, if you want to make it more dark basically, so you can just go and look in somewhere. I'm not sure where's the colors. Somewhere I can change the colors. Yeah, color scheme is there. Visual Studio Code Plus general. Yeah, here it is. So my editor colors, actually I can change the background color. So this is a general, and if you look in the background basically, so you're going to have, why my background is not coming. because it's actually coming from Visual Studio. Okay. Editor color scheme. Yeah, so here you have editor, and editor in which one you want to go with. Okay, so you want to go with background, right? I don't know what I change usually. So some options if you change here, so you can change the colors. Okay, so this is the options for sure, but what yeah, text basically, background, read only files, no defaulted text. Yeah, background is some color chosen. Yeah, I want to put a pure dark here. Yeah, that's it. So you get this one. Okay, this is fine. At least if you have more black in the background, it will make your eye effectiveness much better. That's it. Okay, this is the only thing I preferable the options wise. Okay, so apart from that, you know that how to clone the repository and how do you add your files and how do you push your files in IntelliJ. You can still use this particular utility. And one more repository, you close this and you can find out, you open the IntelliJ, and one more repository also you want to make it. Okay, so then you click on this. You go with the import from VCS.
Raghu, quick question.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's say you worked on a component and you worked on a branch, and I worked on branch, you know, like so basically what I'm trying to say is that let's say you are you developer 1, developer 2 are working on different features, and they have their own separate some sub branch or feature branch. I don't know whatever the right word is. But then I want to be like, let's say I come back the next morning and I wanted to be able to test through your branch the functionality or the latest changes that have propagated. So do I need to
yeah, you're seeing the goal, but basically I had to reach there, right? There is a road actually to cross there, step by step.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go there. Definitely, I'll come to your point. Definitely. Not today. Today, it's just a beginner, right? So we'll reach there definitely. Yeah.
Sure. Thank
so
you.
branching strategy, I'll talk later. So yeah, and one more. If you want to open one more, repository, you can go here and click on new product from version control. Again, you give that particular repository where you want to clone it, and you get it. So multiple repositories also you can just choose this. Okay, so that's how we are going to start writing the code. And so probably today the time is almost not enough to start the shell scripting. So again, there will be a gap. So because tomorrow is a weekend again. So day after tomorrow, so probably we can start with shell scripting. So topics of shell scripting, and we'll talk about one by one. So we'll write the code in the editor. We'll push the code on the server. Okay, so there is one more step going to come into picture. What is the another step which comes into picture is, so this is your local desktop setup. So but where do you run your shell script? Where do you run your shell script? That's another point, right? So where do you run your shell script is this one. Okay, so then what you're going to do is, once after you've done your work, so from GitHub, what on the servers, what you're going to do is you do a git clone, and after that you always do a git pull. So you pull the code, latest changes. You always push the changes on the server side, wherever you want to run it, you pull the changes. Okay, git pull, that's it, one simple command, git pull, and it will just pull the latest changes, and you run the code. So this cycle we are going to do again from today till the last session. We'll follow the same cycle. Okay, so you have the repositories, you do the modifications. Okay, you want to run it on some server, you do the git pull and run it. Okay, so that's how we are going to proceed next sessions. Yeah, I think that's all from my side for today. Any questions?
Yeah, sorry, Raghu, what does pull do again?
Pull the changes. Just pull the latest changes. That's it.
To onto your own local environment.
Yeah, onto the servers, because my code will be run on the servers, right? So I'm writing a shell script. I cannot run it on my Windows. Actually, supposed to design to run it on my server. So that means I had to, I push the code to the GitHub. So from there, I had to pull the changes. I did a git clone, like let's say 1 minute back, and in this 1 minute, I push the changes to the GitHub changes, right? I need those changes on the local system, on the local server to run them. So that's where I do the git pull.
Yeah. So the local server is your local machine. Is that what you?
No. So this left side, you have a block line here, right? So on the left side is a desktop effort.
Yeah.
On the right side is a server effort. Okay. So that means on the server side, okay, I'll be pulling the code and run the changes. So I push the code, right? So I already cloned it. You'll not get it immediately. If you kind of do a refresh, then you get that particular change, right? So that is where the pull is going to pull the changes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyone? Any other questions?
Do we have steps to install Azure DevOps, which you said earlier? We have to install Git and Azure DevOps for the next class.
Azure DevOps is also same, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, to open. Okay, so doesn't really matter who it is. So Azure DevOps also will provide the same repository like this. There is my Azure DevOps. Yeah, if I go to the repo, so they also offer the link. Like let's say if I click on clone, so they offer the link. Take that particular link and go to the So here doesn't really matter whether it is Azure DevOps or GitHub. Does not really matter at all. So I will say I will just click on new from version control system. So you paste it and click on clone, and you get that particular repository, and it will open that particular one. So that's how you're going to get the same thing. So there is no difference at all. Okay, so it doesn't really matter where the source is. Git is always Git. Who offers doesn't really matter. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Do we have any steps, Raghu, to download or install that Azure DevOps?
No, Azure DevOps is not a utility to install, right?
Right, it's a cloud, yeah.
What is the steps there? Nothing to install.
Okay.
Sorry, Raghu. Again, going back to that diagram, right, where you said pull to the server. So that means that from GitHub, we are going to do the actual pull to the whatever the web page, web server, wherever our EC2, I guess wherever this HTML page is residing on that web server. Is that where we're going to pull that information? Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, let me show you. So assume that I'm in a Linux box now. Okay, so I just do git clone and I pasted this. So I have a shell scripting code here. So shell scripting. If I go there, I have shell scripting code. Okay, I want to execute this particular code. So now, like let's say there is a sample, there's a cat sample.txt, right? So hello world is there. Now if I go here and I basically kind of add it to so second line, let's say second line or something like that. I added it. Now of course I need to commit and push it. So here is a commit and I commit. So change, like let's say change 3, and you click on commit, and push also is option here. So commit and push will take it in a single step also. So push. So it's done. Now you see this here. So cat sample.txt. So this doesn't really know about your changes, right? The server doesn't really know about the changes, but from my desktop side, so what I have done, I made the change. Okay, in my desktop, I made the change. Okay, and pushed it. I did it. Okay, pushed it. But the server doesn't really know about that. Okay, so in the server, if I want to get the changes, so what I have to do is git pull. So git pull will pull the changes, and you go with sample.txt. So now actually where I did modify, no, I modified readme.md file. Readme.md file. Now you get that particular second line content also. Okay, so this is how, if I want to execute a code, I push it from my local desktop. I want to execute on the server. Server doesn't really know about the change. I have to pull it. Got it?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Anyone? Any other questions?
Raghu, can I ask one question? So, which I have experienced earlier when I'm practicing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So when I host a service and created the domain and I'm creating the certificate for that. So when I install WinSCP and unzip that. So I have unzipped that in the server, but if I see in the WinSCP, it's not unzipped. It was still a package. So that's the
Yeah.
reason I'm unable to load with the certificate. The website unable to load the website with a certificate. It's still saying not secure.
So WinSCP is only to copy a file, right? It will not
Yeah,
unzip. You have to copy the file and you have to unzip it.
yeah. I have unzipped it, but even if I after done, if after completed, so if I click on the site, it was showing still not secure. Maybe did I made any mistake or?
You missed some points. So are you following the same things which I mentioned? So
Yes,
after
yes,
the
yes.
session, let me, okay. After the session, what you have to do, you'll get a video. Okay, watch the video once. Make down your steps that what you need to do. Okay, make some pointers and then go and practice. Okay, while practice, if you have any question, again go back to the video. That's okay. But
Yeah,
first
I
of all, you
went back to the video, but I have seen everything, so everything was same, but I don't know how I didn't get that.
no.
I practiced it till at like 1 a.m. So I didn't get the point, didn't get the solution for that.
Answer is still no. You have not done that. Answer is still no, right? So if it worked for me, for you also it works. If it's not working for you, that means you're missing something. So your
So yeah,
skill comes. Your
yeah,
skill
you have
comes. No, let me. Your
correct.
skill
Yeah, yeah,
is basically identifying the issue. If you're starting identifying the issues, I can help you. Okay, you bring me the server after the session. I'll fix it, and you're happy. You go and enjoy your weekday, right? Weekend basically, right? Then what after that? You clap here, someone slap you on the internet. That's a simple point I'll make.
yeah,
So try to, so you're missing something. Your skill is basically identifying the issue. Okay, is also a very important skill. Troubleshooting skill, where to look, where not to look. So that comes with a lot of hands-on. Okay, you try 100 times and you come back to me, then that makes sense. Okay, one time no one will expect you to, so do it as expected. So try a couple
yeah,
of
yeah.
times
Yeah,
and find out what you're missing.
I
You
tried
will.
and I've compared your video and with my work. So there was only a small gap, that is. So I have unzipped, but it was not going unzip the that particular file.
Yeah,
In
find it out.
Yeah,
Find it out. If not, ping me on Slack, no problem. But I'm just telling the best way to learn the things, right? So
yeah,
so you have to aggressively practice. That's the thing. That's a simple thing. Yeah. So I can make your life comfortable, but I don't want to put your life in comfortable. Why? Because later it doesn't never looks like the same way. That's the only point actually I
yeah.
want to put in there. That's it. Nothing more.
The last is I extracted the files. It was extracted already, and
Uh-huh.
but I cannot see in WinSCP that was extracted. It was still showing the zip file.
You do a refresh. That's it, right? Right click refresh. It will reload the thing.
Okay, in the
But
WinSCP,
why do
right?
you need the zip files to be seen on the WinSCP? You copy the zip file, go to the server Linux box, and you
Yeah,
can unzip the file there. Do ls, you can see them, right? Why
yeah, I can
WinSCP?
see that. Yeah, I can see in the server, but I cannot see in the WinSCP. But
Yeah,
in WinSCP, it was still showing the zip file, even after I did the extraction.
yeah. You have a right click or and refresh option. You should try that.
Okay, I didn't see that. Okay, maybe that was my gap. Maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So that's the reason I'm not getting the secured site. It
No,
was still.
that is not the reason you'll never get secured. No, 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 no. That's your understanding is wrong. So, okay, so let's hold the topic. You have missed some details. Find it out.
Mhm.
What is the details? Okay, first watch the video, understand which points actually made my server as HTTPS. First look into
Yeah,
that. Okay. So then
yeah.
whether you cross check whether you had done that particular point or not, then you will come to know. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know. To be honest, I have watched more than 2 times, Raghu.
Are
Almost
they
third
two
time.
times only? 2 times only. If I learn the things, I'll watch 10 times. Seriously.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. So it's already 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m. So I have closed my thing and I slept.
That's all. See, no one bothers about how much effort you give. Just
Correct.
people looks whether you're successful or not. That's it. You put 24 hours effort or 10 hours effort. That's your individual capability. Okay. So even I learned the things I watched 10 times. No doubt in that. Okay. I tried more than 10 times. Definitely. No doubt in that.
Yeah, even I watched everything, so it was showing only small gap. It was extracted here, and it was not extracted there. So that is the only gap I have seen in the 2 times. Yeah, that's it. So I'll let you know. I'll show you. I'll ping you in the Slack. So
Yeah.
I don't want to waste this this session. Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Raghu.
Yeah. Anyone? Any other questions?
Hi Raghu, Sanjeev Chandra, good
Yeah.
morning.
Yes, Sanjay.
Actually, yeah, this is not technical question, just regarding our training session. Actually, for the videos, I'm not getting access. Could you make it?
Sanjiva. Okay.
Yeah.
You joined through Siva, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Let me check with him once. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah.
I
I'll
already
check.
informed. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll check it. I think he messaged already. Need to check it out. Yeah, I will
Yeah.
check
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank
And I think I'm just checking it out. So you should be already having access, is what I'm thinking. Sanjeevchandra.yum, sanjeevchandra.yum@gmail.com. You already have access to the videos. So all you need to do is whatever the email you have given, you should log in with that particular email. Then only the things will work. Otherwise, it will not work.
Okay. For YouTube also, I need to access same email. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Fine. I'll try it.
You already have. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, you already have access. Yeah, anyone? Any other questions? All right, so yeah, no questions. We'll see in tomorrow session, not tomorrow, day after tomorrow session. But yeah, practice well. So the practice is the only thing. So otherwise, my course is really useless actually. If you don't have any plan of practicing, then my course is really not that much useful. So yeah, think through, and yeah, so we'll meet on the after tomorrow session. Anything, just reach me on Slack. Okay, thank you. Bye. Good day. Good night. Good weekend.